So the psychological emotional resistances to metta, hatred. Hatred comes in two forms. The white hot destructive hatred. I want to tear down the whole building. I want to tear this person limb from limb. That kind of sentiment is the white hot. The other is icy cold. This is more like the assassin. Very cold, very precise, but definitely still intending to destroy. When I was young, as a young child, this was a go-to for me. I couldn't react with anger towards things in my birth family, but if something was really off from me, I could go to the cold, icy hatred, and that wouldn't trigger my parents. They weren't too clear what was happening, and I wouldn't get in trouble. So it was a way that I could have a reaction to negative things in my experience without inviting the wrath of my parents. So those are both in the hatred category. Anger, and anger is a deep upset and a feeling that the other should be hurt or punished in some way. And it's different from hatred. In hatred, we want to eliminate or we want them to be vanquished or vaporized off the planet. And anger, we'd like them to get hurt a little bit. You know, if they fell down and broke their arm, that might be okay with us. I remember once driving and have someone very recklessly cutting in, weaving in out of traffic, almost causing accidents. And my reaction to their driving was anger. And so I didn't want them to be vaporized, but I wouldn't mind if they got into some trouble. And within about 20 minutes, I saw them, the police had pulled them over and were giving them a ticket. So I got to have great justification in that anger. So aversion, another resistance to metta, aversion is rejection. I don't want something in my experience, so I want to keep it away. And it's just a perception that something is going to be unpleasant and I want to keep it out of my experience. The next resistance to metta, self-hatred and self-judgment. Excuse me, I talked about this earlier with innate goodness, but this is the self-judgment, the criticism that we have for ourselves. And I was surprised when I started teaching how predominant self-hatred is. People have there's few people that have a really active self-hatred, but a lot of people have a little band of it where there's a part of themselves that others have expressed displeasure about. And so they've learned to hate that. You know, I hate the way I do this. I hate the way I behave in this circumstance. So that also blocks metta. And then finally, guilt. So we feel like we did something wrong. We made an enormous, unfixable mistake. And also there's a value judgment. We're a bad person. Some people carry I'm bad as their core story. So it can all tie into this. So, you know, I mentioned these resistances so that if they arise, you recognize, oh, here's the resistance, a block to metta. And by bringing it out from unconscious, running to conscious expression, we can work with it more. We can accept it and be with it.